I'm Huseyin The Brain, and you're watching The Couch. We have a very special video for you guys today. We're going to be talking about injuries, so you get to know whether you want to draft this guy, not draft him at all, what the real situation is, because you hear something and it sounds fishy, like you want to know what's really going on. So without further ado, I'm going to let the official chiropractor of Fantasy Couch take over. His name is Dr. Chris. He's going to be giving you guys some insight on Peyton Manning, ACL injuries, a bunch of other topics like AP, and I'm just going to let him take over. Here he is.
So Peyton Manning, he had 2 surgeries on the back part of his neck to relieve some nerve pressure at the C7 level. That's the last vertebrae in the neck is removed from the head down. Those 2 surgeries were found to be unsuccessful, so that prompted Peyton to go to Europe and do stem cell therapy. They also found that procedure to be unsuccessful, which led them to the most recent surgery where they went in the front part of the neck to remove a disc. So with the first 2 surgeries, the doctors went in on the back side of Peyton's neck and they were trying to relieve some of the bony fragments that are putting pressure on his C7 nerve root. Those 2 surgeries failed, they were not successful. He went over to Europe, tried the stem cell therapy. You know how that went. He came back, because those 3 procedures failed, they went in through the front part of his neck and they removed that C7 disc. So they took the disc all the way out and then they put a medical device in there to replace it as the shock absorber. They then took a metal plate and fused these 2 vertebrae together. After the surgery, the reason it's been taking so long is he still showed some of the symptoms before all 4 of those operations, which is muscle weakness into the tricep. So that C7 nerve root, that provides the strength and sensation into that tricep. You know how important that is when you're trying to throw. That's why I'm so doubtful that Peyton Manning will ever be back to what he was, or even worth picking up on your team. Timing's gonna be off, muscle fatigue. I'm just not sure how he's going to be able to recover from it after 4 operations and still having some of the neurological symptoms. And even though they're telling you guys, yeah, he's still not the Peyton Manning of 5 years ago right now, they're saying he still might progress there. My professional opinion is he's not going to get there. I mean, it's been many surgeries, he's gone to Europe, he's still having the muscle weakness into that tricep muscle. His sensory perception is off. No matter, I've also heard conflicting reports that his range of motion in the neck will not be affected. I get that because most of the rotation and flexion comes from the upper 2 vertebrae. Someone familiar, Sterling Sharp, he had cervical fusion at those 2 top vertebrae. His career was over. So the one thing that Peyton Manning does have on his side is the fusions at the lower part. It's still, there's no way you can convince me the range of motion in his neck is going to be how it was before the surgery. Now when you hear ACL, most people are thinking, oh man, that's a tough injury to come back from, and it is, because that ACL ligament is under its most stress when there's a lot of directional changes happening. So when you plant your foot, knees flex, and then you're exploding, explosion, that's Derrick Rose's whole game. He's very explosive, he cuts, he's fast, and I love that guy. I hope to see him come back, but I'm just not sure how he's going to be this season. They're saying he'll come back in December or January. It's going to take him a good 6 to 8 weeks to get comfortable and get going. By that time, you're already gearing up for playoffs, so I'm not sure how great of a season he's going to have. I hope he takes his time. It's a tough injury and comes back stronger than ever. Let's talk about AP. He also has torn ACL and MCL involvement. So the MCL, when your knee is flexed, that's when that ligament has the most stress on it. So you think of AP's game, he's planting that knee, he's cutting, there's a lot of stress on both the ACL and the MCL. Reports are saying that after this preseason game against the 49ers, the doctors are trying to clear him for the first week of the NFL season. Now with AP, I think you'll be lucky to get 12 solid weeks out of him. They're going to kind of have to ease into it. It is going to be sore throughout the year. I just hope that he takes the time, recovers. But if you can get a solid 12 weeks out of him, I like him. He's a solid pick in the early rounds.
Okay, I'm going to take what Dr. Chris just said and put that in strict fantasy football terms. Peyton Manning, do not draft him this year. Now, he does have the upside and potential this year, but he won't be available in the 10th and 11th rounds where you should take him. And you should only take him as a number 2 quarterback. I would rather take someone like Jay Cutler over Peyton Manning because like Dr. Chris just said, one hit and he could be done. It's over. There goes your starting quarterback. Now, AP, he is worth a draft pick as your number 2 running back. If you can take him in the 3rd round in a 12-man league or the 4th round in a 10-man league, he is worth it. You may get those 12 weeks out of him like Dr. Chris was saying. And that's all we have for this video. We're going to have at least 2 or 3 more draft videos for you guys. And they're going to be really good, informative, funny. Check us out. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.